to have a discussion. I have noticed a increase in the last couple of years of people not necessarily faking, but misunderstanding what OCD is. I have had OCD for as long as I can remember. If I remember correctly, I was diagnosed when I was like 6. So literally basically all of my life. And thankfully, I was blessed enough to get diagnosed early. So it's something that I've lived with my entire life. Like it's gotten worse in stages. And I remember very vividly the different stages of it. I remember closer to when I got diagnosed, I had this really weird obsession with glitter, and that was kind of what threw my mom off and into getting me diagnosed. Was I wouldn't focus on anything else. I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't sleep, I wouldn't play with the kids. When I went to work with her, because I used to go to work with my mom when she worked at daycares, so I was kind of a little bit socialized, and I would just ignore everybody. I would ignore everybody, and I would be in a corner just picking at the floor, looking for glitter, and I would hoard it. I would hoard glitter, and it got to a point where I had a red Solo cup full of glitter. Like it was like a normal sized red Solo cup, and it was like that far from the top, full of glitter. And the red Solo cup came after the diagnosis. I believe I struggled with the glitter for 3-ish years, so like from 6 to 9. And so I got the diagnosis, and then I had my little red Solo cup, and I would put glitter in it, and my mom, bless her heart, scared me one day, and I jumped, and my glitter went everywhere in the car, and I had a massive breakdown about it. I had a meltdown. And that's I think when she realized that it wasn't just a diagnosis, it was part of my life, and it was going to get worse as time went on, and worse it did. So it went from glitter to the average having to have things in a certain order, not having them straight and neat and tidy, but I had to have my stuffed animals in a certain order, I had to have my books in a certain order, I had to have my collections in a certain order, because I didn't stop at glitter. I've always collected things. As you can see, I have like 14 Monster High dogs. And while most people will be like, oh, that's just normal autism collection things, it has to be 14. I will get into that later, but it has to be 14. If I get another one, I'm gonna have to get 2 of them, because then it will be an odd number. I will explain later. But my collections had to be in a certain order. It had to be, depending on what the thing was, it had to be most favorite, from most favorite to least favorite. So like again, I have I have Laguna. You can't even tell, but I have Laguna, who's my favorite, and everybody else followed me. And I have 4 Lagunas, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 4 Lagunas, and they're all throughout the line. And I have 4 Dracularas, And I have, unfortunately, one of everything else, but Draculaura and Laguna are my two favorites. So there's 4 of each of them. Anyway, I'm off track. So it was most favorite to least favorite. So like books, most favorite to least favorite. Anything that was on my wall the things that I loved more were on the closest wall to me, so where my bed is. So like, there's my bed, and everything surrounding my bed is all of my most favorite wall items. And I would have more FNAF things over there, but I kind of like having them in the background. So, absolutely refused to even so much as come near certain textures. Now, you could say that that is an ADHD thing, because I'm also comorbid. I'm dual diagnosed with autism and ADHD also. I got the evil trifecta. But I think it's all 3 together, because my neurodivergency started with ADHD, and then OCD came like directly after, and then autism. My neurodivergency started with OCD, and as I got older, it kind of cycled out of what you would consider the more normal compulsions and into more debilitating ones. And the more debilitating ones being number-related things. So going back to the 4 Lagunas and 4 Draculaura. If I get one more of each of those, I will not put it up until I have a second. Until I have another one, until there's 6 of whichever one I get. So if I get another Draculaura, for example, I will not put it up until I have another one to make it 6, because I can't with the 5. And the only reason why it's fine the way it is now is because in total there are 14. If there weren't 14 up there, then I would just take away my least favorite ones to make it an even number. And so the even odd number thing has been the most debilitating for me, and has been the most long running. That one kind of quickly replaced the, I guess you could call it, organizational compulsions, because I don't really know what triggered it, but I would like to imagine that something in my little child brain associated something bad happening with odd numbers, because I literally, for the rest of the time that I have been alive, since 9 years old, I have not really had a fear, but disgust with odd numbers. I can't do odd numbers. I don't know what it is, I don't know how to explain it, but it gives me this sense of dread. Like, if I'm even close to an odd number, then something really, really bad will happen. So let me give you a couple of examples, because you hear that and you're like, oh, you need psychological help. A lot of the problem with the odd numbers has to do with food-related things. it is a big, massive part of my relationship with food. You could even consider it disordered eating if you want. I don't care. It has to be an even number of whatever it is on the plate. So say I have pizza. That's a good example, because you can cut pizza into like a million different pizzas. If we're having pizza, there has to be an even number. It has to be either an even number between whatever flavors there are, or an even number of the flavors. So if we're having cheese and pepperoni, I'll do 2 cheese, 2 pepperoni, or if it's just pepperoni or just cheese, I'll do 4 pieces, so on and so forth. If I'm getting a drink and I have to have ice, I have to have an even number of ice. I will sit there and I will count, not out loud, in my head, I will count by 2s how many pieces of ice I put in my drink. And if I lose count, I will take all of the ice out and I will start over. My coffee has to have 4 scoops of sugar and 2 dollops. I don't know what you would call it when you put milk in coffee, but 2 dollops of coffee, or milk, sorry. 2 dollops of milk, and I have to either stir or shake it an even amount. So it really depends on if it's hot or cold coffee. So I'll sit and I'll just, so like this, for example, this is cold coffee, so I shook it this morning. I shook it for the equivalent of 20 seconds. 20 whole seconds. And there is 4 spoons of sugar, and there was 20 ice cubes, and a little over 4 dollops of milk, because this is strong coffee. I want to give more food related things, because I feel like it's hard to imagine when you're thinking about it. But here's my current food that I'm working on. This is my breakfast today. I know that to the average person this looks like a big portion size, which is fine. You can think it's a big portion size if you want, I don't care. But there's 4 biscuits and 4 sausage patties. The reason why it looks big is because another one of my compulsions, and this one was more like accidentally triggered in my brain, because when my mom and I would go out and get like McDonald's, for instance, as a kid, I would take apart my Big Macs or my sandwiches. That way it tricked my body into thinking that I would eat more. And I think I just did that so much over time that it became a compulsion. And so I do that with all of my food now. And so there's 4 of each biscuit and sausage patty. And I put them into pieces, into even pieces. So for the biscuits, for example, because they're normal little Jimmy Dean sized biscuits, I took them apart, took the top off, and then I broke in half, and then I broke it in half again, and that's the biscuits. And then for the sausage patties, I sliced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the roll in pieces 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in pieces 6 into squares. And if I did not do that, I felt if I didn't do it, then I wouldn't have eaten it. If I didn't do it that way, then it would have just been a waste of food, because especially when it comes to food, if I don't have it at an even number, then something in my little goblin brain convinces me that I'm either going to choke and die, or it will suddenly become poisoned, or if I don't have an even number, then something horrible will happen to my family, or the house will catch on fire, or my devices will explode, or something along those lines. This isn't food related, but also when I pick things up, when I pick things up off the ground, it has to be even. I thought I had them. Oh, wait. do. So those are 2 leaves. I still have those 2 leaves actually. See? There's 2 leaves. 2 of them. You can count. 1, 2. And then I don't currently at the moment know where the other one is, but I got 2 feathers. And then also on my altar here, there's an even number of crystals. And I have, I can't think of anything else that, oh, on my jacket, on this jacket, which I customized myself. Oh, jeez. I customized myself. I put pins and stuff all over it. Also has an even amount of things. So I have an even amount of patches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 and 6 is on here. And I have an even number of pins throughout. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on these sides I have an even number of things. So I count all of these as pins, not just these. It depends, everybody's different, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on this side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on this side. And if one falls off, then I take another one off, because I can't, if it has an odd number, then I'm going to die. And that's not me being over dramatic. Like that's how it works in my brain. Is I associate odd numbers with bad things happening, and a lot of those bad things happen to be harm or death. I did this at my girlfriend's house. 1, 2, 3, 4 symbols. Both boys' symbols. Little houses for my Monster High dolls. 1, 2, 3, 4. And also on this wall, there's 6 phone cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm trying to think of other examples that aren't just food, because I feel like people hear, oh, I have to eat my food a certain way, and then that's it. But it's not just food, it's anything that has to do with numbers. Anything. If I take pictures, I have to take an even number of pictures, or else I feel disgusting. That I made for St. Patrick's Day. And as you can see, there's 4 layers. I intentionally made it 4 layers. What I like to call kibble, and it's just Muddy Buddies. And I counted out each of them to make sure that there was an even amount in here. Every single one of them. Counted them out by 2s.
3 days later.
I think you picked the point. And so also on the topic of food and odd numbers, I have to take an even amount of bites. So if, for example, if I were to bite this, I would have to take 2 bites. So I would have to, I'm not going to break it up because I don't feel like it right now. But I would take 1 bite, like probably about half, like right there, and then another bite. And then I have to chew an even amount of times. And that can just vary by what I'm eating. So it really depends. But I do it all in my head, because for a long time I did it out in the out, like I verbalized it, and a lot of people got really concerned for whatever reason, so I've started to do it in my head, and I count by twos when I do it. Another good one, I think, is I have this little jar of both real teeth and fake bones. That took way longer than it should have, but I have 2, 4, 6, 8 fake bones in there, and then I have 2, 4, 6 halves of real deer teeth. And the reason why it's halves is because they broke off while I was trying to get them out of the deer skull, which really sucks for me. I'm struggling to find other examples that aren't food, because it's not just food. Like, food isn't the only thing that is affected. I have 2, 4 different types of lip gloss on my desk. I have 2 rocks on my desk. I have 4 other little fake bones. I'm not going to show them because they're all over the place. 2, 4, 5, 6 different little figures. And there are 3 Pokemons and 3 Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's okay because it totals out to 6. What else? I'm trying to find other things that aren't food related. I have 2 crowns of different kinds. I have 2 sets of dog ears. One is right, you can kind of see it, right there. And then this is the other pair. I have 2 sets of headphones. I have on my desk wall, I have 2 Kuromis, 2 little Disney Squishmallow thingies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different FNAF posters. I have 2 butterfly related things. I have 4 little parka things that came with the Monster High dolls. I have like 5, I think 6, either 4 or 6 different types of sweaters. I have a bunch of different, like if you look closely, it's all even. It has to be even. And as well as self-maintenance. So when I brush my hair, I have to brush it an even amount of times. When I wash my hair and body, I try to do it at least 2 times, but unfortunately sometimes I can't do that, so I do what I like to call micro washes, where I micro wash twice to make one big, like, normal size wash. When I take sips of my drink, I have to take an even amount of sips. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. This video will be hours long if I keep going on and on and on and on about the numbers. And then the other types of OCD that I have, the other facets are relevant OCD, which is where you obsess over things that have happened in the past and how you could have done things differently, or how you could have reacted to things differently, and having discomfort over the outcome of those things. And electrical/fire OCD, where I'm terrified of there being a house fire or an electronic exploding, especially if it's out of my control. I'm terrified of fires that aren't controlled. Like, I like bonfires, I like burn pile fires, I like candles, but those are things that are controllable for the most part. And so if I smell even the tiniest bit of smoke or something burning or burning plastic or something like that, I will smell everything. I will smell everything in the house, every electronic, every outlet. And those two aren't as detrimental as the number-related OCDs, but it's still taxed onto it. And then I also personally would count picking not as a facet of OCD itself, but more as a compulsion to help with the anxiety of the OCD facets. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I looked up the keys to the house. It's for the Monster High dolls. Anyway, this is getting so off track. This is getting so off track. My point is, I am tired. I am tired of people miscategorizing OCD and saying that it's just needing to be neat and needing to be clean, because it's not. That can be a type of OCD. There is a type of OCD where you have to be clean and neat, but that's not all OCD. That is not the be-all for OCD. There are many, many different types of OCD. Some are better types, some are worse types, some are less debilitating, some are more debilitating. Mine is scaled as debilitating because it not only affects my daily life and the way that I go through my life, but also it affects other facets of my life, such as getting dressed, taking care of myself, shopping, stuff like that. Like the number compulsion specifically dictates how my day goes, and it's a really difficult thing to live with and work through, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. You can go to therapy, but there's no medicine for it, there's no cure for it. There's nothing that can be done outside of just talking about it and using grounding techniques. And sometimes those grounding techniques don't work for me, and so I just live my day-to-day life being ruled by numbers that don't really matter, because I know that logically it doesn't matter, but my little goblin brain convinces me that it does matter, and that really, really bad things will happen if I don't abide by the rule of numbers. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave a like and comment and subscribe if you would like to, and also I would like to shamelessly plug my mental health account. It really does get under my skin, and I know it gets under the skin of a lot of other people who have OCD and struggle with OCD, because it's not one size fits all. It really isn't, and I think that we need to stop treating it like it is. So, have a good day.